All right, everybody, welcome back. It's the end of the world. Michael and Stu.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Stu. And today we are discussing a masterpiece. That's right, it is Gattaca, written and directed by Andrew Niccol in 1997, starring Jude Law, Ethan Hawke, Uma Thurman.
Starring Ethan Hawke and Jude Law.
Yeah, I guess Ethan Hawke gets first billing, my mistake. And I don't know, the Jude Law characters may be perhaps a little bit more interesting to me. I don't know about you. But
characters, yeah, definitely there's a little bit of like, oh, it's like 1997. I don't know if this character would come out this way today.
Oh no. Yeah, actually, I don't think either of us actually really liked this movie that much. I don't think we found it to be a masterpiece at all. I mean, it's provocative, become an influential text among
more interesting than
that's right. I mean, it's good. It's like genetics classes like show this movie.
And it's interesting fodder for this podcast, I think is fair to say.
Absolutely. But as a film, we had some reservations, shall we say. But before we get into that in a much greater, astonishingly brutal, greater depth, I just want to talk about a couple of news items. So there was this robbery at the Louvre, Michael. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, what did they take exactly? And how did they brought a lift? Is this true?
Yeah, they stole a bunch of jewels in broad daylight.
That I heard were described as priceless.
Priceless jewels. I think without that pricelessness, I'm not sure this falls into our purview, but pricelessness, if there's one thing that's apocalyptic, it's pricelessness.
Yes, it is true. Like it's escape velocity, right? There's no
with those jewels, like literally atomic bombs could be purchased. They're
not.
I was relieved.
Wouldn't you be getting the bad end of the deal?
Well, it'd have to be a lot of atomic bombs. Let's put it.
Yeah,
like
priceless,
that.
Of course. Just act. It's more about like it can't be sold. It's not about it's more valuable, right?
That's your interpretation. I prefer to think of it as like something you can get a mortgage on it for infinity dollars,
No, but like I have this like I guess that's true. Maybe what I'm saying is really, really stupid. But
you need a surety? How about these priceless jewels?
I just find it funny that like yes, they are priceless according to the way that we describe these things, but how many priceless things are in the Louvre?
So many. It's actually
and so then I'm like, if most of the things in here are
this is like a bigger and smaller infinities situation, like
yes, I think that's right. So why don't you explain what you know? Because I've read that it happened, and I'm hoping for the best for them.
I'm praying for them. Well, I mean, there's a long history of Louvre robberies, right? Famously, one of the reasons that hated enemy of the show's most famous painting, the Mona Lisa, is the most famous painting in the world.
You who shall not be named.
Yeah, no, Da Vinci, my arch enemy, is because it was stolen. The reason it became so valuable is that it was stolen, like 100+ years ago in the early 20th century, and there was a big publicity campaign about getting it back. Eventually, obviously, it was retrieved, but it's like the hype around it being stolen is one of the things that kind of catapulted it above the fray.
So you don't even really give him like the Mona Lisa.
No, I've always said that I think Da Vinci is among the greatest painters ever, and that the painting is incredible. I've seen many of his paintings in person.
Right. It's his wings and stuff that you're not.
I'm not into the idea that he is also a great inventor, because primarily I think he was a great con man, and because he was the laziest person who ever lived. Like, Da Vinci's astonishingly lazy. He did so few paintings in his life. He would go to the easel and like with a tiny brush made up of like a single horsehair, he'd like put 3 strokes on a painting and he'd be like, "I'm done for the day." I mean, Da Vinci is amazing. On a certain level, I love Da Vinci because he's just such a con artist. But What I don't like is, oh, look, he invented the helicopter. All right, well, we've done this before. I don't need to.
Yeah.
I don't need to go the
You're right.
greatest hits. So they apparently like smashed like high. They got away on like they used a like cherry picker, kind of like a basket lift to get in a window, and then they bashed the case and got 8 objects before fleeing on motorcycles. This is very like Mission Impossible coded. You could almost imagine Tom Cruise chasing after them.
Yeah, it is like one of those classic situations where it's harder to take it seriously because we see so much through the prism of like film, you know, that it feels too cinematic
That's
to
right.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they
We
apparently,
don't know. Have they not been caught yet?
not as far as I've seen, they dropped the crown of the Empress Eugenie, which features 1,354 diamonds
That's it?
and 1,136 rose-cut diamonds and 56 emeralds.
Okay.
And they found it.
And that too is without price, right?
I mean, it's a lot of diamonds, right? It's like,
But I don't know where you stand on this. I mean, obviously you have to like, I guess you do sort of have to wait to see who did it, I guess. But like a heist is a very good example of something that I pretty routinely am cheering for the people to get away with.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I think it's different when you steal from a museum than if you steal from like a billionaire
Yeah.
or something. A museum, it's kind of like, well, you know, that's for the public to see, and
Yeah, but I mean, I guess yeah, maybe it's ridiculous for me to say this, but it's so funny to grab some jewels from like the way back and run out of the Louvre onto a motorcycle.
oh yeah,
That also like, okay, if this became an epidemic, right? And the Louvre was actually just ransacked, I might be more open to like the cultural loss. Whereas like guys just going for it, grabbing 8 things and
I see.
bouncing.
So you're saying you'll allow a few of these just because it's so
I will
entertaining.
allow, yeah, like I'm primarily when I read about them or see document, it's like it's always kind of a lark, you know, especially when no one got shot, right? No one got hurt.
No one was hurt, as far as I can tell.
I mean,
Yeah.
if no one gets hurt and 8 diamonds are gone or whatever.
It's not 8
or,
diamonds; it's thousands and thousands of diamonds.
okay,
But
thousands, whatever. What's the difference between 1 and 1,000 diamonds wise in the bigger picture?
several
Cares?
$1 million. I mean,
But like again, I think I would hear what you're saying about the Mona Lisa.
well, look, don't let me speak. Macron has weighed in.
Yes, okay. I
He
would rather
says the
we always defer to Macron famously on
well,
the
of
pod,
course,
so.
he's our lodestar. He's our lodestone and our lodestar. The theft committed at the Louvre is an attack on a heritage that we cherish because it is our history, Macron said in a post on X, the everything site. We will cover the works, and the perpetrators will be brought to justice. Everything is being done everywhere to achieve this. Emphasis added by me, of course.
But it did, you know, I guess that is the other thing. It's like, is it good that all of these resources are being used to track this down? I guess that's not a great thing. But like it is hard to just think it's a little bit cool to like
yeah, and like my thought was
do your buddies and like do the thing where it's like I've got a job. What's the job?
yeah, you're right. I mean, we've all been conditioned to love the heist premise, of
That's
course. Right. However, I was just stoked that they stole jewels. Like, I don't care about jewels. Oh wow, yeah. Jewelry. Okay, I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's an art form, yada yada. But it's when I get pissed when they steal paintings. It's like, come on, I wanted to see that Pizarro.
It's like, where does it? Like, you know, obviously, if you steal it, there is a price, right? So
if you steal it, they will come.
Sort of the distinction I'm making about the word priceless here comes back around, where it's like
they could chop it up and sell the diamonds,
or they could sell the whole thing for
probably much harder to do that because everyone knows it's wanted. But there's some emir's jewel dealer who'll pay for it or whatever. You know, but then you're not getting full value. Yeah.
Well, you're not going to get full value, obviously, because that would make no sense. Because these people, like, there's not a huge market for this stuff. On top of the fact, it's somebody who has to be comfortable buying something that is so publicly stolen and lost, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I wonder who is going to end up, because like they're not just going to keep them and be like, look what we did, and like set up a museum. They should,
Although that would be cool if it was just an avant-garde theft. It wasn't about money.
yeah, if it was like if they were like
It
if they came up with a statement actually
was about
against.
the thievery, Michael. It was a
Well, what if it was like against the Louvre as a cultural entity,
like
even though you
against France, a protest.
feel like to say like these things actually shouldn't be. Maybe it's like what if they're like anarchists? Like these things actually shouldn't be locked away in the hands of the cultural elite,
Mm.
and they set up their own little museum, and you could come.
Okay, I mean that's a little tendentious. Come on, like anyone can go to the Louvre, right? It's not like it's not like it's
Yeah, but now
thousands
you
of
can go.
dollars to enter. Now you can go to some guy's shack where they can be stolen again much more easily.
Yeah, and probably not for free because they're gonna have to get their tail money.
Yeah, are they going to pay off the shack? All right. The other thing to talk about before we get into the movie is the No Kings protests, which were on Saturday. I was not able to attend any because I was in transit. I was up in Maine visiting my family over the weekend, and I came back on Saturday afternoon. Were you able to attend the New York protest, which I saw was quite impressive?
I was able to.
You did not, however.
I did not go. No,
Oh my God, we're both canceled,
I
Michael.
don't. You know, I know that this is kind of like a little whole hog or whatever, a little idealist and stupid, but like when I see like Kamala Harris like promoting it and endorsing it, it really does lose a lot of value for me.
Wow.
I already honestly don't really know what No Kings is for. Like I
It's
get
just
that
to
we don't,
show Trump that people hate him.
right. So it's like it's the like it's sad, but like it I'm not saying it's not good that it happened. Sure. It's I think anytime there's any type of collective will against something obviously heinous, that is good.
Sure.
Right? Um
No, but I feel you. I mean, it felt a little wine mom coded or something, right?
yeah, just like I don't to me sometimes these types of protests they just like not only are they sort of depressing in the sense that it's so clear that we have no program collectively,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The demands are all like the ones that are serious, obviously the most serious, the transgressions that we've talked about a ton on here and everybody knows. Yes, that is like legitimate and good to see that articulated, but I don't know if it's more effective than some of the much closer to the bone, like work against ICE, for example,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
direct confrontations with these apparatuses, right? Um, as opposed to just like wearing an ugly Trump mask with a sign about like I'd rather be at brunch, but her emails or whatever, you know.
That's right. Yeah, I agree. Um, I did hear that Trump posted some really offensive Truth Social AI generated video of him dropping shit on all the protesters, which I thought was tasteful and good, you know.
Well, I mean, it's good to know that he's taking it.
He's taking it well. I haven't been to a protest in quite a while. Another thing that I saw raised about this, however, was, and this is not why I haven't been. I'm just very lazy. But I was I was a real protest head back in the day, Michael. You can search through my old Facebook photos and I prove it. One fear was that drones were being used with facial recognition to kind of identify people at these protests and set them up for being, sued or having their business licenses, just like that Trump is going to use the AI technology to try and punish people who publicly protest. I haven't seen any, mind you, I've not seen any evidence of this, but I just saw several think pieces about like, what if, like, this is a real
Yeah.
concern. So that doesn't seem great to me. In general, I mean, I'm glad 7 million people allegedly protested Trump. That's great. I think Trump is not ideal. I don't think it's I don't think it's going to change his mind about anything, right? He seems to be more
No.
ensconced within a bubble than ever before.
Well, I think it might be time
Time for Gattaca.
to leave behind the battle to stave off the monarchy for now and go to Gattaca.
Yeah. So, Gattaca. When did you first see this? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think I saw it in a science in society, I think was the name of the
Class?
class.
Oh, right. You said there was a sub that like
Later
wheeled
year.
in the TV.
And it was like I'm pretty sure it was like a substitute teacher mailing it in vibe, like got permission to
Yeah,
do
right.
it.
We talked about this last week. Oh,
Um,
before we get into Gattaca, I have to issue a correction about last week, which is that
sure.
I said, pay your regrets, quoting Dave Matthews. Pay for what you get. It's pay your respects. Just need to put a little respect on Dave's lyrical prowess. Also, some weeks ago, I was talking about the T4 program, Action T4. I said Theresienstadt 4. Totally wrong. Theresienstadt was the name of a concentration camp. The address of the annihilation program was Tiergartenstrasse.
Okay,
4.
I think that this is a really good. I want to say this is a really good first step. I think the Notes app apology is likely to appear this week if you do follow us on Instagram at the end of the world WMS. But Stu, I think this was a pretty good start.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I'm doing my best. All right, but back to Gattaca. This may become a recurring motif as I catch myself. Because every now and then we'll do an episode and I'll be like, God damn it. I said the wrong thing and it bothers me. It eats away in my cerebral.
You gotta do what I do. You just gotta say the wrong thing so often that it doesn't even like get through, you know?
Touche. I mean, I think I do. Anyway, the movie opens with some quotes. Consider God's handiwork. Who can straighten what he hath made crooked? Ecclesiastes. Ominous.
Uh-oh.
I not only think we will tamper with Mother Nature, I think Mother wants us to. Willard Galen. I like the way the mother in the second.
I love the way nature gets taken out. Yeah.
So perverse. Like, ugh. Ugh. I don't even know who Willard Galen is, and I didn't look it up. So I'm assuming he's some kind of scientist. Or maybe he's fictional. Who knows? The movie opens with a montage of the Ethan Hawke character clipping his nails, shaving his face, kind of sanding down his skin, which
is back-to-back episodes for us, right? With nail.
I thought of that too, right? We're back. The toenails again. He is a worker at Gattaca, which is what we learn it's called, which is a space exploration agency and or company. Its private public status not entirely clear to me. They're in the future, an unspecified point in the future, right? Do we have a year for this?
It seems this is one of the things that's fun about the movie. It seems like it's really far into the future,
but it's also retrofuturism because it's very it's very 50s or 60s or
like
40s
their terminals
coded.
don't look like Minority Reports, for example,
right?
But also, when I was trying to figure out the dating of it, it was like there's this line in an exchange with Hawke and Jude Law where they refer to detectives or cops as J. Edgars and Hoovers,
which is very 60s, like 50s,
right? Which is like, how far into the future
are we going to be thinking about J. Edgar Hoover?
Yeah, like we don't call them the J. Edgar or the Hoovers now.
I mean, maybe you don't, Michael, but I do constantly when I'm chatting with my cop buddies.
This line really stuck with me because it implies that J. Edgar Hoover's cultural influence, which I don't think
there will be a Hoover-essence where
yes, that like somewhere on the way to this new setup and new world, J. Edgar Hoover became once again synonymous with law enforcement.
Became an icon, you know.
Yes. And that's the side quest I would have loved to see in the movie. Just a bit of an explanation, but
we can only ask so much of our films. So we eventually learned that what Ethan Hawke's character, who we are introduced to as Jerome Morrow, that's not his actual name, but we'll get to that shortly, is doing is he's trying to limit the amount of his inferior genetics that he sheds in his workplace, because he's essentially used fraud to conceal his DNA signature as much as possible in order to get
Why
into.
don't you just quickly explain why? Because like, what's the world we're dealing?
So this is a world where genetic determinism is everything, where most children are genetically engineered prior to conception, prior to birth, by a doctor, and they're selected. The traits that are selected for are those that are optimal for whatever the parents are looking for. But things like cancer, things like congenital heart conditions, things like baldness, things like, anything that alcoholism, a tendency for obesity.
And Jerome Morrow, the character Jerome Morrow, who you're seeing, Ethan Hawke is, he's going around and he's doing the grooming montage. He's getting ready for his day. He's going into work and he's explaining, we find out he's going to fly into space. And he explains like,
he's an astronaut. Yeah.
Of course I am, because I'm Jerome Morrow, which leads to another question about the world that I've been thinking about, which is like, did you feel like it was explained that there were still things that were out of reach cost-wise for a ton of people? Like, it appeared like you would have to be rich to be able to create a kid like Jerome Morrow. Is that
right? I mean, I think that's the only explanation for the fact that there are still genetically imperfect people around.
Well, and that there aren't a ton of like the top class people, and then it actually wouldn't be easy for Jerome Morrow to just be in space, right?
Right. That's a good point also. That is another thing that I had a bit of trouble with. Because we do see there are janitors and stuff, right? And they are presumably the genetically unfit. But one thing that the movie I think is interesting is everyone in the world who's genetically elite is so focused on eugenics and like genetic eliteness that it's like they almost don't even see each other. All they see is like, oh wow, you've got amazing genes, man. Cool. It's like,
they can go, and if they're looking for a romantic partner, which we could talk about as we get into the movie.
Yeah. No, this is good.
You can go give the DNA to.
You can give a strand of hair to someone, and you can be test me to see if you like me, right?
And it doesn't really look that different from like just going into like a corner store or bodega. It's like right there.
There's this little terminal, and you slip the thing in, and they give you the DNA. They give you the whole sequence printed out.
Right. So anyways, the intro closes this out by being, and obviously you can see it coming a million miles away, but
he's Jerome like, Morrow, I'm not really Jerome Morrow.
I'm not Jerome Morrow. And then away we go. So why don't you explain his actual backstory then?
So he is a love child, which is to say he was conceived through sex. Like his parents were in love. They had sex. They didn't do any pre-conditioned screening. They did nothing. And when he's born, they're told, "Oh, your son Vincent. Wow, he's gonna only live to be 30. He's got ADHD.
99% chance of like high percentage chances. So it's like 89% ADHD, 90% heart disorder.
Right. All these, and it's all percentages.
Why don't we stop briefly here for a little hypothetical?
Sure.
Right?
Why not?
So, I have two questions for you.
Okay.
Right? The first would be, if this became possible, right? Would you read the information about yourself first? And two, would you read it about your child?
No and no.
Interesting.
It's a weird thing though, because you kind of don't have a choice. Because what if your parents do it? And then they're like, oh, because that's kind of what happened to me with DNA testing. Like,
really?
My parents, I never did a 23andMe or Ancestry or one of those, but both of my parents did. And so, they're like, oh, check it out. Here's my thing. And I can see it. And I'm like, all right, well, I can just put these two together. And because that has some info about propensity for cancer and things like that. And
I mean, I guess I would have a much harder time not reading
about the
my
kid.
right? Because then you have to is there a moral responsibility if the science is so good that it's not like this kind of rudimentary stuff that maybe 23andMe is giving you, right?
Sure.
Like, oh, like go get checked for this, maybe. Like if we're getting to the point where it's like you will die at 30, right? And I actually think that like the like 89% ADHD and the heart disorder stuff, the high percentage chance, I think that I would have a hard time, if not telling them, you would at least read it, right? To then act on it. You might not tell your young child.
Sure.
But
But don't we
like,
already know a lot of this anyway? Just
but I
based
don't,
on.
yeah, but I don't know if I would uh, ever tell my kid the age.
Yeah, but I mean, that age is wrong. Like, Jerome Vincent in this movie, Ethan Hawke's
No, no,
character,
I'm saying in a hypothetical world where when they
where they
say,
actually can
like,
tell you, like, you're going to be 32 5 days past your
yes,
third month of, or whatever. Like,
that's right.
I don't think that's ever going to happen, Michael. I
I'm
don't
not,
think,
that's why,
I mean,
hypothetical.
one of the points of the genetic, of this movie, though, is that genetic destiny is bullshit, right? I mean,
Yep.
and it's always going to be bullshit because the genome only expresses itself based on environmental factors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's always going to be a synthesis between genetic potential and environmental situation, right? So, you're never going to be able to be like, your child will die at age 12, 6 weeks, 11 days, right? It's like not possible. It's not feasible.
No, but I'm saying hypothetically, if you could,
Okay. No, I mean,
would you
obviously,
look for
if you,
yourself?
if,
I definitely wouldn't look for myself. That
yeah,
would be
I don't think I would look for either. If it was going to be like the exact date of death, like, come on, no one
yeah.
wants that. You don't want that sort of Damocles
I bet
hanging over
someone
you.
wants it. I bet there's someone listening who's like, I would probably take that.
Yeah, well,
Sound
God,
off in the comments.
God bless. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please tell us how stupid we are for our choices. Um,
All right. So also we should just say that he is a navigator and he has just made it to a space mission,
to
which is
Titan,
quite
to the moon of
which
Saturn.
yeah, which is quite clear. Like it's like one of these funny movies that it's got like this interesting world build with these questions of, genetic destiny, but it's just about a guy who wants to go to space.
Yeah, he just
doesn't
loves space. He's very
he doesn't
space pilled.
he doesn't have a plan. He's not going to go colonize a moon or go research something. He just looks at the spaceships and he's like, I've always wanted to do that. And that's the whole movie is him being like, the thing is, I really want
Yeah.
to.
Well, it doesn't matter. I just want to, which,
always,
respect. Like, that's,
yeah, I love it.
I think that's fine.
It's like a classic like Hollywood template. You just give someone a very bare uh, journey and desire. This is my goal. I say it at the beginning, and now you watch me try to get it.
That's right. And he gets shut out from everything, though. He can't go to school. They look at his genome, they look at his DNA results, they're like, no way, we're not taking on the liability of having this walking death trap. This guy could keel over literally any second.
So he's condemned to be a janitor.
Essentially, the best he can hope for is janitor status. They have a second son, Anton, who they do genetically engineer, and he's perfect. He's taller, he's better looking, he's going to be an Olympic athlete if he wants to.
Right, and Scrappy Vincent plays this swimming game with him because he tries to keep up and he's stronger than his genetically better brother, and he can't win.
He always loses. And, he's never going to be able to go to space because of his genetic profile. Now, there's a funny throwaway line where they're like, it's illegal to discriminate, but no one takes the law seriously. I was like, oh, it's illegal to discriminate, and yet everyone in the entire world, all they do is discriminate? I guess there's some things that are like that.
I would say that's not exactly wrong.
It's not exactly alien from our own experience in many ways, right? But if I feel like someone would at least pay lip service to the idea of like, hey, I'm going to launch a lawsuit, or
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, also he of course just ends up a janitor there, right?
Well, hold on. Before we do that, before he leaves, he abandons his family after it's clear none of his dreams are going to come true, especially not with their preconceived.
Well, his one dream.
Well, right. But I mean, the steps that would be necessary to realize his one dream. And he his parents have a preconceived notion of his limitations, and I think that's why they must be abandoned. He and his brother have a final game of swim chicken where, for once, Anton finally gives up first and almost drowns, but Vincent saves him. And once he's saved Anton, he's overcome Anton. Anton is buried in the ground. No need to swim against Anton again, let me tell you. Oh, wait, no, maybe there will be a third and final swimming montage in this silly movie. Anyway, he leaves, gets a job at Gattaca as a space janitor. Not one that goes to space, just one that cleans up after the actual astronauts.
And you get a lot of heavy-handed, this is your destiny, this is your class. I wouldn't, stuff like, I wouldn't even bother looking at the spaceships.
Yeah, don't look up. That's got nothing to do with you, kid. Classic stuff. He gets in sick shape, though. He's constantly working out despite his heart.
He looks amazing in this movie.
He's very cut. Looks great. He eventually goes to a black market gene guy, as we all must, right? And it's Tony Shalhoub, which I love. That Shalhoub is the guy who's like, I got all the answers. He's incredibly gifted, by the way.
Yeah, and again, this part is where one of the things that's flat about the storytelling, where it's like, generally a critique I would have is that it was way too easy.
Yeah. There's just a guy you go to.
He decided he wanted to go to space. There's this whole legal framework about genetically modified children and what jobs you can get and all of that. And then when people can just give their identity away. So we have the technology, you see what I'm saying? Like we have the technology
to
do this to people, but we don't have the technology to track that it's being done. It doesn't seem like that.
Well, this brings up a point that I'll mention later on, that there's some very weird aspects of this world that feel very out of sync with reality.
Absolutely.
They're obsessed with genetic surveillance. I'll just say it now. But they are completely indifferent to visual surveillance. There are no cameras anywhere to track that anyone's actually who they see. They don't do face ID. Nothing like that has ever been conceived of. Why bother? We have genetic ID, right? And, a guy beat up one of the cops and ran out the back. Too bad there's no cameras so we can check who it was. Just all sorts of stuff. So you're literally DNA testing people at highway stops, but you're not doing a photo ID check. Which I think is supposed to go back to the point that I made earlier that they're so obsessed with genetics that they don't care about anything else. So the idea of doing a visual check is superfluous.
But you're right. It's some of the structures of this society that not only would have facilitated even reaching this point and certainly would be required to maintain it, just don't even appear to be there.
Yeah, they don't exist. So we meet Tony Shalhoub. He hooks up Vincent, Ethan Hawke, with Jerome Morrow, the real Jerome Morrow, who's Jude Law. Morrow's paralyzed, but he has the best genetics ever. And good news, the accident happened outside of the country, so there's no record of it. Oh, okay. So medical sharing across continents, impossible.
It's a classic thing of when someone writes their first draft and it's 130 pages.
Yeah.
And it has an actual story about Jude Law getting away with this, but they're like, you got to cut something. And then he's like, let's just say he was in a foreign country and so he can never get caught.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no records because the UK is apparently British and the United States are at war. Well, we also won't explain that. Anyway, he has leg lengthening surgery, which is funny because that is something that people are now doing, right? Have you ever followed any of these leg lengthening guys? I don't know, not followed, but just seen a glimpse of them.
Yeah, they'll come across the algorithm.
Yeah. I'm just oh my God, do not show me this. Because once you have that done, you can never run again, right? Because your legs will just break.
Right. But again,
but you are 4 inches taller at most, or whatever. Not even 4. It's
and
2.
It's the thing that sort of shows not only can he not get away with it if he doesn't do it, but it is set up to be a test too.
Basically. Yeah. And he also has dentistry, and Tony Shalhoub just does all these surgeries himself. It's this guy's amazing. Is it great cosmetic dentist? He does leg lengthenings.
What does the Jude Law character get out of doing this? Just money?
Money, yeah, but it's because he's paralyzed, so he can't work anymore because they're also hyper ableist, as you'd expect, right?
Would expect.
And we learned that he was an Olympic athlete. Actually, he did win the silver medal
mere silver medalist
in the breaststroke. And that was not good enough because he was engineered to be the best and now he's not. But again, like you were saying before, like in a world where anyone can engineer anyone to be the best, like why would you anticipate that your best is better than everyone else's best? You know what I mean? It's not like you're the only guy who was genetically engineered to be the best swimmer. Like presumably other parents that are obsessed with swimming are doing that to their, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Silver medal's still very impressive.
Yeah, it's like
it might be way more
it's
impressive.
like a fractions of a second from someone else. And yet he is apparently just destroyed by this failure.
Yeah, he's like, even I had everything going for me. And even then I was second best. It's like, well, yeah, you've silver medalist.
Yeah,
good.
That's good. You're second best in the world. However many billions of people, you know?
Right.
Anyway, they this is all leading up to, so he also collects like shavings, skin cells, and other particles from Jude Law, which he distributes around himself so as to make it seem like the real Jerome Morrow was wherever he is, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, kind of the most memorable part of the movie for me.
Absolutely.
You know, also, I remember I saw this probably in college, and I remember thinking they had a much nicer apartment back then. And then when I watched it now, I'm like, this apartment's not even really an apartment. It's more of
so they essentially start living together.
They start living together. They have to because they are now the same person.
That's right.
Right? And
they grow close. And I think it's the best part of the most interesting part of the movie is just some of their scenes are just fun. Like when Jude Law's like, we have to get drunk immediately.
Right. And then they go out, but it's very odd because, all right, so he wears a little cap over his finger that contains Jude Law's blood. But but we've already seen people are getting genetic tested all the time. Isn't it going to be odd when they get tested together somehow and they're both the same person or whatever?
I mean, like to me,
there's a lot of holes in this.
Maybe I'm not reading it right, but like it felt like somehow they knew that they would be okay where they were, I guess, like in the club they were in, maybe.
Right, but I mean, like, what if they're going to the store or something? Is Jude Law's Jude Law's just content to be in his apartment for the rest of his life, essentially?
Well, he does say at the end, he says, "You don't need to thank me. You gave me your dream." You know, and that is all he needed apparently, was to sit and think about Ethan Hawke in space.
Okay, let's pick up the pace a little bit here. I took, as usual, way too copious notes, but essentially they're about to launch. It's like 10 days out from this big launch.
Yeah,
and there's a murder at the at the place that they work, and this is the conflict of the movie because this brings in these like gumshoe style detective police
pretty bad
guys.
cop, considering what's at their disposal.
Yeah, well, I mean, Alan Arkin figures it out, right?
Yeah.
But the other cop, who, how soon did you figure out who the other cop was?
Who's the other cop?
Like his brother, right?
Oh yeah, okay, sure.
Like,
I thought you said who the actor was.
No, not the actor, just like who he is in the movie. It's like pretty clear to me pretty early that like, oh, of course, like the other younger cop is like Anton, the hated rival brother. And indeed that is the case, right? So like, all right, Jerome Morrow was never meant to be one step down on the podium. The real Jerome Morrow goes by Eugene for the rest of the movie also. So there's a murder, and the boss of the whole facility is Gore Vidal, which is just another bizarre detail. Like, why is Gore Vidal in this movie? I have no idea.
Loved it still.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. Unfortunately for Vincent / Jerome, one of his actual eyelashes falls off and is discovered on a ledge near the crime scene. And the guy who was killed is like the mission director, not the overall director. And they got to figure this out. Well, the whole mission could be in jeopardy because this degenerate gene trash guy, Vincent, is somewhere loose in the facility.
Invalid would instantly become a suspect, but of course he happens to be Jerome Morrow. So
who's the most valid of all, right?
So he melts down because now he's a murder suspect.
And he thinks like, I'm just gonna give up. We got to throw this whole thing in the trash. And Jude Law convinces him, no, this is ridiculous. You can't quit now. We've given up.
Again, it's like, this is the biggest problem for me. It's like, what's at stake is not like he has a home on this moon.
No. It's just a literal 1-year mission.
He wants to go.
Yeah.
To space. And so it's like, if I'm him and I'm a murder suspect, I'm not listening to anything that Jude Law could possibly say to make me not run away right now. Are you kidding me? Just to go to space? Like, it just
I mean, I guess some people want it a little more than you, huh, Michael?
Yeah.
They want space. They want space. I mean, I relate to the space dream, But I agree. Like, I think it's very clumsy and kind of stupid. Like, the whole murder plot is idiotic. Like, I don't know what.
Yeah, I think bad plot, good, interesting world, good performances is like how I kind of.
I completely agree. Like, they eventually get over it. He decides he's going to go forward. Meanwhile, he's fallen in love with Irene Cassini, who is Uma Thurman's character.
Very much a pointless and shoehorned story, but she's good as usual.
She's good, yeah. This is where they met. They would eventually marry, and she genetically tests him at one of those booths, and is like, "God damn it, he has like the perfect gene." Like she's almost as if she's suspicious of him on a level, but also it's unclear. She's also sympathetic because though she was genetically engineered, she has a heart problem that slipped through somehow. Which again speaks to what I was saying earlier about your hypothetical. It's like, well, how did that happen? There must have been a lawsuit there,
right? And there really is.
Like, where was the lawsuit? Like
there's no explanation for these things. You start to count through the characters in the story, and just as many of them actually, it turns out, either has or knows someone who has these things anyway. So like suddenly it's like, well, is Jerome Morrow's or is Vincent's story even that remarkable? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll get to that in the end relatively soon. So basically, I love that as soon as a person with non-genetically engineered DNA is discovered on the site, they have to be the killer. Mm-hmm. It has to be them. It couldn't be one of our genetically perfect, workers. It has to be that guy, which is hilarious. I think that is, basically what they're trying to say is that this is like racism on a certain level, right? Like, oh, there was a black guy nearby. He must be the killer. Oh, there was a genetically inferior guy. He must be the killer, right? I mean, it's the same kind of genetic bias, eugenic bias function.
Bullshit.
It's bullshit, right? It focuses completely like racism does. So they go to a concert. There's a funny scene where the pianist has 6 fingers on each hand.
Yeah.
Because apparently I wish there was a little bit more stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Like where there were some people that had 6 arms.
Yeah, give me some body mods.
Give me some weirdness.
Yeah.
The 6 fingers is so... one thing is they start to suspect, well, maybe one of the people at the Gattaca Center is fraud, right? And they call that using a borrowed ladder because the DNA double helix kind of looks like a ladder. So, and
it's also like climbing the social ladder.
That's also true. But I mean, it's like that little bit of lingo. I was like, yeah, that's good. Also, they have these visual scanners that identify them when their picture comes up. And it's like the whole time it's Jude Law's picture coming up when Ethan Hawke gets scanned. And no one ever notices that they have a similar haircut and stuff. They don't look alike at all. They look nothing alike. I mean, I'm sure it's just like, they're like, well, we've got Jude Law and Ethan Hawke. We're making this damn movie. No, I mean, it works because it speaks again. They have the same haircut. He's looking intensely in the same way. It makes sense because no one is paying attention to the visual. All they are paying attention to is the genetic, right? That's right. So later, the investigation continues. Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman are out at another event when there's a bust. The cops break in because they're doing just random DNA sweeps of the whole city at this point because that's the only move they have in their police repertoire. It's like they didn't and we'll get back to this in a second, but like, he beats up a cop to get away and finally has to kind of confess to her that he's not really Jerome Morrow. And he gives like her some of his hair and is like, let me know. You know, they have this weird sex scene at this like beachside property. And he goes out in the morning because he's so nervous about leaving his genetic material that he just like was cleansing himself in the waves. Also ties back to the thing. She's like, I don't even know who you are. And he's like, I'm the same person I was yesterday. There's this extended scene where the brother Anton goes to the apartment to interview Morrow, and Jude Law has to like pull himself up by his arms to the upper level, and he's like sitting with his like paralyzed leg crossed and pretending like I'm sick today, but I'm normally the big space guy or whatever. He forces Uma to like give him a kiss, even though she's dating not the real him. It's kind of a funny, sinister thing, or not even sinister, but just kind of moderately abusive thing that someone in his position would do. Eventually, the cop does like, oh, you're a god child is the other word they use for normally created humans, right?
Right.
Eventually, the cop does actually decide to look a little more closely at the body of the murder victim. Instead of just the one lash they vacuumed up, which has sent the whole thing spiraling off in this imposter and discovers there's spit in the eye of the murder victim, which matches immediately to the director, Gore Vidal. Turns out...
I do love that. It's like, you know what I'm going to do next? I think I'm going to check the victim's body for clues.
Yeah, like weeks into this investigation. Yeah. And of course, it is the evil gay guy, once again, who has done the murder. Classic. Very 90s. And the other funny thing about this that doesn't make any sense is the reason he killed him is because that guy was going to recommend they cancel the mission. And Gore Vidal's character will die before the next launch date, which is some 70 years in the future or something. Yeah. So he kills him, and now the launch is going forward, you know, there's nothing. It's like, well, wait, hold up. Why did the guy want to cancel the mission? Is there something we should know about that?
That's right.
That never is addressed at all. And they're just like, well, the mission's set now, nothing to be done. Like, countdown clock's going. We can't stop it.
Right. And it does leave it up for debate whether the mission that he's been waiting his whole life.
Is he going to just die? Are they going to crash into a meteor or something? Like, anyway, Anton knows that his brother is there because he's been kind of soft covering for him this whole time. Now the real killer's caught. He seeks him out and he's like, all right, we need to race one more time. So they swim again and again.
Last swim one, too.
It's just like, what are we doing? We've seen this twice already. The third swimming contest? Who cares?
But he wins.
He wins, and he tells them that the reason he won is because he never saved anything for the ride back. He just put it all in for the way out. And he's the better man despite his genetic disadvantages. Wow. And then, despite being unclear about who he really was, Uma Thurman is back. She realized that there was the scene earlier where his contacts fell out and he had to cross the street almost blind, and he did it anyway because of belief and because of love. And they're going to be in a relationship moving forward. Where did Tony Shalhoub go? Is he satisfied with how much money he's making? All of that never addressed again. No. Just before he launches, Jude Law gives him a letter as he's like, read it when you're up in space or whatever. He
says read it when you're upstairs, I think.
Yeah, he says upstairs.
But he gets the meaning. Read it when you're...
That's right. And so as there's a final screening, as if like these guys who you've screened a million times, just one last check. We've only DNA tested you like 40 million times.
Right. Just pee a little here.
And the doctor is Xander Berkeley from Safe by Todd Haynes.
Oh, yeah.
The bad husband in that. Now he's back, but he's a good guy this time because he reveals that he's known that Ethan Hawke was not who he said he was the whole time,
really because
he holds his penis with the wrong hand while he's pissing. He's supposed to be right-handed, but he always uses his left hand, and he's like, right-handed people never do that. I've always known there's something up. But my son is a little like you. He really admires you. He's not what they promised us. So again, it's like you had your son genetically engineered.
I had forgotten that part.
It's ridiculous, right?
And I'm the whole time thinking, like, when does the real thing that's going to get in the way of him, going to happen? And then it's just like, I was like groaning at this part.
It's a fake out at the last second that does not do anything.
Just not earned at all. Because the doctor character hasn't done anything particularly clever. He just announced that he knew the whole time.
That's right.
Anyways.
All right. So he gets to space. And then, of course, what does Jude Law do? He incinerates himself in their trash compactor.
Also, like, how do we get here? Like, he seems re-energized.
Oh, one thing we didn't mention is earlier he revealed that he broke his back by walking into traffic after winning the silver medal. So destroyed was he, right? that he couldn't handle it, so he just walked into traffic, and that's why he's paralyzed.
Why was he? Yeah.
Right. Can you imagine? What are we talking about here? Like, what's like? No, I guess the point is that this obsession with genetic destiny deranges and warps people's minds, such that the Jude Law, even totally he's perfect his whole life, it's in his destiny. When that isn't real, he just has to walk into traffic, right?
Right.
And now that he's helped his other non-genetically good friend make it into space,
he can die.
His mission is over. He's left enough.
And he's basically like, there's nothing more for me to do because I'm in a wheelchair.
So I'm just going to kill myself.
So, like, that part's kind of crazy ableist, right? Like,
yeah, it's like unbelievably ableist.
You would think it would be like
he found love too, or something else happened with his character.
Something that would be like, yes, this person
also has value.
Yes. I mean, it was really strange. Yeah.
That's the worst part of the movie because you're just like, what the fuck?
Unnecessary.
There's no reason for this. We get nothing. We're not like, oh, finally he can be at peace.
Yeah.
Because his friend went to what's that? Yeah, because he got second in the Olympics.
Second in the Olympics, so finally he can rest in peace.
Because now he made his friend go to space. What?
Not even his friend. Someone who became his friend like a couple weeks ago.
Well, more than that.
No, I know.
But, he's been there for years, right? At this point. Anyway, really, other than that, there's a lot of clunky stuff in the film, right? We've pointed it out. It's not really a good movie. It's stylish. It looks good. The performances are good. Idea is good. Execution leaves a lot wanting, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's truly like when I watch the movie, my first thought is like, this guy, how about this? Like, kind of like the pitch, right? I can like see the pitch and I can see like 150-page first draft. And
a bunch of edits.
It's like, we're not making, like this isn't going to be a 3-hour movie.
Another edit I would have put in is way less swim racing. Like, come on, buddy.
Yes, for next time. For Gattaca 2, which I'm sure is around the bend, or just a full reboot with all the same people.
All the same people. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts? Like,
I ultimately really left with a bad taste because of the suicide.
Same.
But again, I think that obviously the three of them are really good.
Yeah.
And so it was easy to still be into the movie and like almost feel like in a way when the doctor thing happened and I was like, ugh. And then the incineration, it made me go back and be like, wait a minute, this really didn't make sense.
No.
No.
But
because it's like, Hawk's really charming and Jude have this good back and forth and everybody's so attractive. It's like, oh, okay. Like they're talking genetics. He's going around trying to hide his hair or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you go back after that, like when they lose you for real, it's like, this really was like no clothes here.
Yeah. It leaves a bad taste in one's mouth. That's right. All right. Well, Next week, we're going to be
Next week.
doing something a little different. We're going to be doing a short story by H.P. Lovecraft, the
Very excited.
master of horror. We'll be talking about
Love my Professor Stu episodes.
Oh,
Love
thank you. Yeah,
Doctor, I should say now.
No, Professor's fine.
No, I think Dr. Stu is the way
I think
we
Dr. Professor Stu, maybe.
Dr. Professor.
Okay, we're doing a story called The Shadow over Innsmouth. It's not that long, but it is quite horrifying in its way.
Can't wait to read it.
It's about a New England town haunted by a mysterious curse that emanates from the sea. I'm looking forward to that. In the meantime, if you like the show, you can follow us on the podcatcher of your choice. And if you really like it, you can leave us a rating and or review on said podcatcher. You can also follow us on Instagram at The End of the World WMS, where we like to post reels. We also like to talk about posting things that maybe will never be posted. Maybe one day we'll really throw caution to the wind.
We'll tease some stuff.
We'll tease some stuff. We'll do it. We always say this. And all right, so next week, H.P. Lovecraft in honor of Halloween, in honor of the end of the world from the sea. And until then, this has been The End of the World with Michael and Stu.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Stu from the sea. And we'll talk to you real soon.